Hey there, awesome people. I am Brooke Summer, and you are listening to Business Straight Up, the podcast for creative entrepreneurs to learn, connect, grow, and build the business and life that they dream of. Welcome, let's get going and dive right in. Welcome back, amazing business owners, to another episode of Business Straight Up, the podcast and place to be if you want to actually make a living doing what you love. It has been a while since I've recorded an individual episode, and there's a few reasons for that. One, getting my kids back in school was crazy chaotic. Two, I completely reopened my photography studio again, full time, full speed. And so I've had a lot of clients. And three, I have a ton of back recordings from guests that I still have not shared yet. So I've been trying to catch up on those as well. But I wanted to record something today. It won't be crazy long. I want to talk about last week's social media outage. So if you were living under a rock, or maybe you don't love social media and you're not really on social very much, then you may not have known that last week on Monday, Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp went down. Basically, all of the Facebook stuff went down. There are a lot of speculating reasons, conspiracy theories as to why that happened. I'm not going to say why it happened because we don't really know, but it was down for 7 hours. It's estimated that Zuckerberg lost $7 billion during that outage, which is crazy to me, right? To think of $1 billion per hour. Really? That's crazy. But it's estimated that he lost $7 billion because they were down for 7 hours. Now, why does that matter to you? Well, first of all, if you're using social media as your primary way to reach your potential clients, to speak to people who might want to work with you, or even your past clients in your community and the people that you've built up around you, then you might have been screwed. You can't get a hold of them at all. Secondly, you may not have been able to contact or have clients contact you if you're using that as a form of contact, not just in a group setting, but messages, DMs, stuff like that. If those are the things that you rely on, that's a big problem. Now, I want to tell you this as well, because I feel like there's this idea that Facebook rarely goes down. We don't really need to worry about that. But I have had in the last month, 3 of my friends personally have their accounts completely shut down. 2 were Instagram, 1 was Facebook. Now, these are good people, okay? They're not boudoir photographers, not that it makes it okay for boudoir photographers, but social media tends to hate us as boudoir photographers because, God forbid, we show a woman's body. Oh my gosh, no. But these were not boudoir photographers. These are wedding photographers and portrait photographers and coaches whose accounts were completely shut down. And the reason that I share that is there's this prevailing idea that, well, Facebook doesn't go down very often. If it's only one day, it's okay. They could shut down your account at any time. And that's a really hard thing to think about, but they could literally just shut down your account and there is no recourse. There's no one to contact. There's no way to get it back without paying people these huge ransom costs and several thousands of dollars to try and get your account back. And there are people that do that. So just because it doesn't go down very often does not make it safe. Another thing that I would like to point out in all of this chaos is that these platforms can also change at any time. What if tomorrow Facebook is like, you know what? We've decided groups doesn't really align with our vision of where we're taking Facebook, so we're going to shut down all the groups. I would be stunned. I would be sad. I love my Facebook groups. They're kind of my like little safe place on Facebook. The Facebook groups that I've created that are full of encouraging and supportive people. If those groups were gone, I would be really, really sad. But I wouldn't be screwed. And here's why. Because I have other ways that I can reach out to my people. Now, it's so funny. I watched someone, Let me rephrase. I posted a video on Instagram and TikTok last week after everything came back up with a quote from the Golden Girls from Miss Blanche Devereaux, because she is my favorite. And people got really upset about this. They said that we're sharing doom and gloom and that we shouldn't be using that to sell our shit. I'm like, first of all, y'all, my email one-on-one course is free. Okay. So I'm not selling anything. Second of all, this isn't doom and gloom. If you are running a business, people expect you to have a higher standard when it comes to what you do. And that is across the board for any business. Okay. If something goes wrong with one of our toilets in our home and I call a plumber, it is absolutely reasonable for me to expect that he will know what he's doing, unlike my husband. That's reasonable. As a business owner, people expect that we have a higher level of standards, of service, of expectations for ourselves, that we have backups in place. We know what we're doing. We have backups in place. So why is it that when it comes to marketing, you don't think that you need a backup when it comes to social media? And it's not doom and gloom. This is just good business. If you're a photographer and you have your primary camera, like we all have one that we shoot with all the time that we love. Mine is named Animal from the Muppets because I love Animal. We all have one, right? One tool that we really love to use. But what if that camera went down during a session? You bet your ass I have a backup. And I don't know any professional photographers who are established in their business who don't have a backup. When I went to shoot my very first wedding, I feel like this needs to be its whole own podcast episode because it was a little crazy. When I went to shoot my very first wedding, autofocus went out on one of my lenses, my primary lens. Autofocus just stopped working. Wah. So much fun. For any photographers listening, you're like, oh shit. Yeah. Autofocus not working. So I had to manually focus all of the preparation photos, the bride's photos, the groom photos. And I had studied for months because this was my first wedding. And I wanted to make sure that I did a good job. It was very, very important to me to kick ass on this wedding. Autofocus went out. I had to manually focus everything, but I knew how. I didn't have a backup lens at the time to that lens, but I had other lenses. And I knew how to manually focus if I had to. We all need to have backups to everything you do in your business, whether it's backing up your hard drives. What if your computer is dead and you don't have another computer to work on? That's a problem. I have a laptop and a desktop. We actually have several computers in our home because I have a high school/college student, a husband who works in IT. But the point is that if it went down, I would have a backup. If something else wasn't working, I would have a backup and a way to figure it out. Why do we think that marketing on social media would be any different? Why do we think that we can put all of our efforts and all of our money and all of our time into one platform and think that that's enough? It's not. And I've had so many friends and photographers and students who have watched their efforts get dashed and destroyed because they didn't diversify their marketing efforts. I've had people call me in tears because they didn't have other options. So it's not doom and gloom, guys. And you don't have to use email marketing. Look, if you really hate email marketing, I always say, you run the business. You are the boss. You get to make that decision for yourself. That's the beauty of running your own business. You don't answer to someone else. You don't have to do things a certain way. But one thing I will tell you is you have to have a backup. And if it's not email marketing, maybe it's Twitter, maybe it's LinkedIn. I don't know. What's your backup? If Facebook was to go down tomorrow for a week, what's your backup? If Instagram was to go down tomorrow, what if you lost your Instagram account tomorrow? It's hacked. Someone took your Instagram account. What's your backup? You can't log in. You can't even get those DMs. much less post. I was just put in Facebook jail this week because I posted a meme in my Facebook group that was Michael Myers, which if you're too young to know who that is, then welcome to the business world. Michael Myers is the primary character, the villain, the bad guy, the murderer, the slasher from, was it 80s or 90s? An 80s or 90s horror film called Halloween, I think. Right? I don't know. He has a hockey mask on. He carries a butcher knife. Chances are you've seen someone dressed up as Michael Myers, or you know who that is, right? So the meme was Michael Myers busts into your house. You're in the closet and your battery level on your phone, like how charged your battery is the weapon that you have to use in this instance to protect yourself. So there were different weapons. There were 5 different ones. And mine happened to be a coat hanger. And one of my clients said, "Oh man, I got the coat hanger." I said, "Me too. We'll just gouge his eyes out." Went to Facebook jail for that because of violence. Now, this is not the episode to talk about community standards, because if you guys have followed me for any period of time, you know that I get put in Facebook jail quite a bit and I fight it every single time. But the point is that it was a silly comment on a silly meme, and I went to Facebook jail for 24 hours. I couldn't post, I couldn't comment, I couldn't do anything on Facebook except for private messages for 24 hours. What if your account was put in Facebook jail tomorrow? What if you were there for a month? I've seen that happen. I had 12 bans in 1 month. You need to have a backup. Now, I did start this episode with the idea that I want to pitch to you a little bit email marketing for your backup. Now, again, I told you, you don't have to use it. Okay. You don't have to do shit. You're running a business. You know what you have to do? You have to make money, because otherwise the IRS does not consider you a business. They consider you a hobby. People get really mad when I say that. I'm like, I didn't make the rules. This is the Internal Revenue Service. Talk to your congressperson. Okay. So when you're running a business, you don't have to use email marketing. You really don't. But if you're looking for a backup and you're like, Brooke, okay, I'm in. I hear you. Facebook goes down and I'm screwed. I need a backup. Then what is that backup going to be for you? I think it should be email marketing. And here's why. Well, there's lots of reasons why. If you want to read my full list on why, it's at businessstraightup.com/why email, which is WHYEMAIL. But first of all, studies show over and over and over again that people check their email before they check social. 95% of consumers use email. Think of all the places that people shop now. Okay, Amazon, even Target, even in-person places usually have an email address associated. Now, sometimes it could be a Facebook account too. Some things do integrate with Facebook, but not as often as email. 95% of consumers use email, and 91% check their email at least once a day. And that's a minimum once a day. This is so, so important. This is top of mind marketing. A recent study found that 34% of Americans check their email throughout the day, which means if you're not in the inbox, you're missing out. There is an opportunity for you to connect with someone every time they check their inbox several times a day. And you need to be positioning your business and your message and what you do where your clients look. Statistically, email has been at the top of that list consistently. Now, one thing that is not on my list, because I'm kind of just pulling from my list that I wrote, is that the reach and the open rates are much, much larger with email too. So one thing to consider is with social, it's usually a 3 to 6%, what do they call it? Reach? Like 3 to 6% of your followers will actually see what you share. Now that can change based on the algorithm. For instance, right now, Instagram has prioritized reels over photos. So if you post a reel, you are going to have that be seen more than a photo. So that percentage number could definitely change, but usually it's about 3 to 6%. So to give you guys some reference from that, some state of reference, let me do some math. I have over 10,000 followers on my photography page. Let's do 5% just to make the math easy. That means for every post I have, 500 people are seeing that. My email open rate averages between 20 and 30%. 5%, 20 and 30%. Big, big difference, guys. And I'm not saying drop social media. I'm not at all. I love Facebook. I'm on Facebook all day long. That's my water cooler because I don't have coworkers. Well, I do, but they're outside right now because otherwise they'd be in here scratching themselves. I'm talking about my dogs for anyone that doesn't know. Those are my coworkers. So Facebook is my water cooler. That's where I can talk with my peers and have fun with my friends and see pictures of their kids in their Halloween costumes because I love that stuff. Sounds like the Air Force is training today. My apologies. I love Facebook. I'm not saying ditch Facebook. I'm not saying ditch Instagram. What I'm saying is you need to have a backup. What if you didn't have to worry about writing emails to your list for the next 6 months and maybe even a year? Yes, it's true. It's finally here. My students have been asking me for this for years, and I have heard you, and these templates are finally available. Engaging Emails Done is a quick workshop and template bundle to help you harness the power of email marketing to grow your business. You can set it and forget it and actually book more clients. If you're like, Brooke, I am so in. Where do I grab these? Head on over to businessstraightedup.com/emailsdone to grab this special limited bundle. If you want to hear a little more, I feel you. I like details too. These templates are designed to be done for you to set up several months of emails in just an hour. Plus, I've recorded several how-to videos to walk you through the technical steps for several different email service providers if you're not sure how to customize and schedule them. Engaging Emails Done has not only a quickie email marketing 101 how-to if you're starting from scratch, but it includes a minimum of 12 email templates that you can schedule ahead of time to take something off of that never-ending to-do list so you can focus on what you love most. Side note, I did say a minimum of 12 because I keep thinking of things to add, so you might even get more than 12. These are brand new. I've never offered something like this before. So grab your email templates plus email marketing 101 plus tech tutorials before the price goes up. Grab these templates, tutorials, and help all at businessstraightedup.com/emailsdone. Again, that's businessstraightedup.com/emailsdone. It's cheap. There's another reason email marketing is free. Okay, depending on the tool that you use and the size of your list, when you're first starting out, it's free. Now, everyone likes to argue that Facebook is free. I would argue the opposite, actually. I don't believe Facebook is free. And you know why? Because they are making literally billions of dollars, which, as we saw, he lost $7 billion in 7 hours. They're making that much money off of our personal information. Their advertisers are paying literally billions of dollars to get their product or service in front of eyeballs. How do they know which eyeballs to put it in front of? Because we have willingly offered our personal information. Just because we don't pay for something in money doesn't make it free. Okay. Email marketing doesn't work that way. There is no algorithm. The MailChimp or ConvertKit or whatever you decide to use doesn't have to show you special things. They don't have advertisers trying to get in front of you. It doesn't work that way. There's no algorithm. There's no feed. There's nothing of that. No, nothing of that. I don't know if that's the right way to say that. But the bottom line is it's free. It doesn't cost you anything except for time to get started. This is not like advertising in magazine or print or even like wedding wear in the knot where you have to pay for a membership to get placement on pages and stuff. It's not even like that. It's literally free. Now you have to build it, of course, but building your email list is one of the smartest things you can do in your business. This builds your brand. It promotes brand continuity. You can choose what your emails look like, what they say, instead of having your post on Facebook be right above something else that maybe has nothing to do with you. Have you guys ever had like a post that was, I don't know, complaining about a service like Uber Eats, and then the Uber Eats ad is right underneath? It happens all the time, but it doesn't happen with email. You get to completely control what it looks like. You get to control your brand, the colors, the feel, the emotions, everything that goes into your brand, who that email is for. You get to control all of that. And did you know that with social media, 75% of Facebook post impressions happen in 2 hours? And 75% of that quote reach only happens in 2 hours. Tweets is way lower. So email inspires action. And that's the difference. Okay. So when you're looking at social media and you're just scrolling the feed, I don't even know where I put my phone. I was going to hold my phone to show you, because if you guys are listening to this in audio, I do have this in a video format on YouTube as well. But you take your phone and you're scrolling your feed and you're looking at everything. You don't have to click on anything. You don't have to comment. You don't have to like. But with an email, it sits in your inbox and you got to do something with it. Otherwise, it'll just sit there. Now, could you just let it sit there? Sure. But really, for people that like to get to inbox zero, which is not me, you have to archive it, you have to file it, you have to reply, you have to do something with it. Email inspires action. It's also extremely easy to use mobile, from a mobile aspect, which social is as well. But email gives you that capability as well. I looked at my website stats recently, and I want to say it was like 60% mobile. People coming to my website are 60% of the time on a mobile device, which is huge. You need to make sure that your marketing efforts match that, that your website matches that. You can also automate emails. I feel like I'm just going through all of these reasons. We're on number 7 right now. It's kind of been all over the place. Oops. Sorry, I just kicked my drawer. I have little baby wind chimes on one of my desk drawers that my daughter made for me when I was little. So if I hit it, you'll definitely hear it. But you can also automate emails. Number 7, right? You can spend one day and write emails for several months in advance. And the way that the email service providers work is, let's say you have 100 people on your email list because you're just starting, and you write emails to go to that list for 6 months. Anyone new who comes onto your list will automatically get those emails too. So you don't have to go in and constantly add people. It's all automated behind the scenes. You can set yourself up for success very, very easily in automation with email marketing. You can also personalize everything. That's huge. Most people require a first name. So for me, I require first name and email address to be on my list. I don't need your firstborn, like what was your maiden name? All of these crazy questions that some people ask. You don't need to ask those. Okay. Just first name and email address. But that means that I can now personalize the emails that I send out. So in the email, I can say, hey, Brooke, because what happens is there are these merge tags in your email service provider like MailChimp, ConvertKit, whatever, where you can put in a tag that says first name, and it will automatically personalize that email for every single person that is receiving the email. Studies show time after time that people like to see their own names. They like to hear their own names. If you have ever read any of the books about persuasion and influence, a lot of times they will recommend that you use someone's name over and over again in a conversation. Same thing goes for email. You can't do that with social. You can't make a post that says, okay, when Jenny sees this post, I want it to be Jenny's name. When Kyra sees this post, I want it to say Kyra's name. You can't do that. It's not an option because their reach is too vast. But again, remember, 3 to 6% reach rate. I don't know what the right word for that is. Yeah. 3 to 6% of your followers will actually see what you post. And here's the biggest one, which brings us back full circle to what we had originally started talking about, is ownership. Your email list is a digital asset for your business. Your Facebook page can be shut down at any time with zero recourse. Your Instagram account can be shut down at any time with zero recourse. How many times have they changed their algorithms and people freak out when they have changed the algorithms and you've watched everyone around you freak out? Did you watch your reach improve? Because usually you don't. because they want to make money. They're a business, which is understandable. No one's saying that they're an asshole for doing so, right? It's a business. They want to make money, just like all businesses. Remember, we talked about the IRS requirement. But when it comes to email marketing, you have control over that digital asset in your business. When you are building your business on someone else's platform, you are allowing them full control over that. And as a business owner, that is never a good idea. Why would you do that in any other aspect of your business? It doesn't make sense. Your email list can be saved whenever you want. I can export my list right now so that I can move it to another service provider. I don't, because I love mine. And I use ConvertKit. Everyone asks me that. I use ConvertKit. If you are listening to this and you're like, Brooke, I'm in, where the fuck do I start? Sorry, this is unscripted, so sometimes you're going to get score words. It's how I roll, y'all. If that bothers you, probably not the podcast for you, although I do try to scale it back in the podcast format. But if you're all in and you're like, Brooke, what do I do? My free email 101 course was just updated. So head to businessstraightup.com/email 101. That is EMAIL 101 to get the free course. Seriously, it costs nothing. There's not even like this big pitch at the end to buy the full course. If you have that course and you want the full course, reach out. I'm working on the main link right now so that that's accessible year round, because it used to be just during launch phases, but that's all changing. And I want to help you build this. If you want to use ConvertKit, I think you can only get the free plan through an affiliate, which is like myself. I'm an affiliate. MailChimp is free upfront. I am an affiliate for them, but I don't even remember how to get my link for that. So just head to MailChimp.com if that's where you want to start. But ConvertKit does have a free plan now. They didn't for a long time, and now they do, but you have to get a link. So we'll put that in the show notes. Make sure to make sure to check out the show notes at businessstraightup.com/podcast. I am fairly certain that this is what happens when I don't write things out, right? When I don't script things, you get Brooke's random thoughts. It's kind of like Just the Tip Tuesday. If you are not attending Just the Tip Tuesday, you totally should go to businessstraightup.com/community to see more. This should be episode 75. So as soon as I can get this over to my editor, set up, I did lose my assistant that handled all of my podcast stuff, as she had some personal stuff. So it is just me. It's taken me a little longer to do things, but that's okay. I'm working on it. We will get this episode up as soon as possible, because I really, really, really want to encourage you to start building alternatives to social media. It doesn't mean you ditch social media. It doesn't mean you shut down your groups. It doesn't mean that you can't use social at all. It just means that you have a backup just in case. Because guess what? When Facebook went down, my biggest concern was, I guess I can't watch my Reels videos on Instagram. I guess I can't, engage in my group, but I wasn't freaking out. My group knows my email list gets first noticed of everything. Model calls, promotions, news, everything goes to my email list first. They know they want to be on that list. So if you are listening to this and you are the kind of person who likes to help other people, and you have a business owner friend who freaked out over Facebook being down last week or Instagram being down, can you forward this episode to them? I would so appreciate. It is my goal and my commitment and my mission to help female creative business owners and the guys who are along for the ride too, to be successful, to build your business on your own terms so that you have control over your business, so that you can design your life. That is the goal, right? Living the dream. So head on over to businessstraightup.com/community if you want to be a part of Just the Tip Tuesdays, which is my little corner of Facebook for Business Straight Up. And if you love this episode, can you head on over to iTunes and leave a review? Those reviews really help us to get amazing guests and to be seen by more people. I really want to help business owners, guys. We can do this. And especially for the women that are watching, ladies, we have been conditioned to expect less in our lives, and that is bullshit. And we are going to stop that. You deserve everything you want, everything you've ever dreamed of. And when it comes to your business, I would love to help you achieve that. Have an amazing rest of your day. I can't wait to see what you do with this information. If you love this episode, leave a review, send it to a friend, tag me on social, any of the above. I can't wait to work with you to build your business and see your impact in the world. Have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you so much for listening to Business Straight Up. I'm so glad that you could join us today. Check out the show notes for this and all of the episodes at businessstraightuppodcast.com. And I can't wait to talk with you again. Have a great day.